Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm filling in for Zane Powers. I'm Daryl Wade, and we're glad to have Coach Aaron Dunham. And Coach, 38-10 victory over Hereford the other night. When I look at the stats offensively and defensively, Dumas gained 297 yards. You held Hereford to 169 yards. A lot of that came in the fourth quarter against some of your substitutes, but you have to be pleased with both the offensive output as well as the defensive dominance.
Very pleased. I talked about, with the kids before the game about being, playing a complete game and playing for one another. We did that. We came out and drove the football and played great defense, and then as well as special teams as well. There in the fourth quarter, we came out and kicked I think it was like a 29-yard field goal. Mm-hmm. So I was really, really proud. We challenged our kids too special teams wise. So I didn't think we were crisp the week before, and so came out and played really well on special teams. Kickoff coverage was really good. We didn't have to punt a whole lot. Blake had a 47-yard punt average, so I was really proud of the way that we played on all phases of the game.
Well, you ran the ball 31 times for 122 yards, but the rushing attack seemed to me got slow. Seemed like Hereford was able to contain you, especially on the inside rush to start the game. And then as the game went on, you kind of wore them down and was able to, I think that's when you made a majority of your yards. It was later in the end of the second quarter and then the second half.
It was. I agree with you. I think they did a good job, and Hereford's big. I mean, they're big up front and have a really, really good inside linebacker. Number 40's been starting for them for 3 years, finally a senior, and he does a great job. But I thought they limited us a little bit, but as well, I think we got away from it a little bit because we were able to throw the football and connect it downfield. And then when we jumped up 28-0. I think we got a little lackadaisical and with getting up. And so definitely got to be something we got to work on. We got to be able to keep our foot on the pedal. But then I did like the way that we finished. I also remember there were 2 drives. I think just over and over and over, we weren't able to just pound the rock like maybe we wanted to. But we did have 2 really solid drives there that we drove the football the entire field and finished with points on the board. And then I was really proud of the way when we got our backups in, we were able to finish out the ball game. There's a lot of times where you're not able to do that and you have to punt the football. We didn't do that. We were able to control the football, get first downs, and keep moving it and run the clock out.
Well, you always tell me you want to establish the rush. It sounded to me like the other day y'all got the pass going, established it, and that opened the running attack.
We did. We started the game in an empty formation 5-set and tried to throw the football. They got us out of that really quick. They pressured us the first play of the game and got us out of that. But, I think each game, I've talked about this a lot. It takes on its own identity. Mm-hmm. I think we've got to be able to run the football to win games. Same defensively. We always want to try to force the opposing offense to be one-dimensional. If we think we can shut down the run and force them to have to throw it every down, we believe that we'd be successful. And so I want to make sure that we're staying balanced on offense.
Well, you and I talk often. While we do Coaches Show, we always talk a good deal before we ever record. But we always talk about the need to win the battle up front. And we kind of teased the other night, the only time we mention an offensive lineman's name is when he either has a false start or a holding penalty. But let's talk about those guys for a moment. I think they played well, and I just wanted you to comment on some of them, especially Keelan came in again. Aaron went out, still nursing that ankle. Mm-hmm. Keelan Guest came in. And so kind of tell us how the offensive line played.
Sure. I thought they played well. Anytime, consistency with your offensive line is huge. You know that. You played on the offensive line. And so when you've got to shuffle the deck, it sometimes creates some inconsistency. And I thought that's sort of how we were in the last couple of weeks. We've had 2 offensive linemen go down, but Keelan Guest has come in and done an outstanding job. And he did the other night, but it messes with your consistency a little bit, and it does. When those guys are really doing great things is when they have a really great camaraderie and team chemistry there within their offensive line. And when you're shuffling guys, you don't have that. We had Gael came back. He did start the game, ended up playing the entire game. But again, he's sort of feeling his way through it a little bit. He's nursing an injury and isn't at 100%. And so what we really need is we need our O-line back at 100%. I think if we can get that done, we'll get back on track and being able to run the football.
Well, we named Blake Robertson as our player of the game. I understand y'all did the same
We did.
This morning. Had 6 catches for 116 yards, punted the ball once for 46 yards, and with that punt, he pinned Hereford on the 5-yard line. On defense, he had 3 tackles and an interception. Zane calls him Waffle House because he's always open. I was going to name him Super Glue until he dropped the one pass, which would have given him another catch and another touchdown.
Exactly. No, he's playing really well. Blake's a special player for us. You talked about all those things. I mean, he's our punter. He's used to be
The deep snapper.
So if he could snap it and run back there and catch it and punt
Yeah,
it,
that would be amazing.
We'd do that as well. But he's our short snapper and just does a lot of things for us. Really good football player for us and playing well. Really proud to see that he got on the charts defensively with an interception. He was our only starting defensive back that did not have an interception, and now he has that. But he's a big time player for us and makes big plays. The one touchdown that he made down there was a one-handed catch because the DB had his other one pinned down. So really good job. I'm really proud of him. But I think he's the type of guy that we can count on. Anytime that we need a big play, he's the guy that can do it.
Well, another offensive player I wanted to mention was Colt Fox. I've seen him catch passes, seen him make a touchdown. Even watched him do some downfield blocking, and for a guy who you say he's 145 pounds, I'm going to question that.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
But I think it's what it says on the program. But this week, I thought he showed some speed and some acceleration when he took that reverse and took it the full 17 yards.
He does, and we've run that with him multiple times this year, and he always runs it extremely hard and finds some running lanes. He did this again, good blocking, but he was able to take it in. I was really proud that he was able to do that. He's a guy that a lot of times maybe doesn't get his number called. He's working behind the scenes. He's a really good blocker. You talked about his size, but he gets in there and blocks really well. So I was really proud for him to be able to get his number called and be able to get in the end zone. That was a really big play for us.
Well, one of the players we talked about was on defense, and we talked about he saw a lot of action last year because of injuries, and I have just been absolutely amazed at his play, and that's LD Balbuena this year. And I think the experience he got from filling in and being the next man up last year has paid dividends this year because he's a terror back there in the defensive back.
He really is, and played a little bit different position. We usually have LD down in the box in 2-back sets. Christian was there, and I think you can tell from the stats. Christian had, I think, 8 tackles.
He did, yes.
And LD was a little upset. He wanted to be down there, but he's he's real intelligent in the back end. He gets everybody lined up. We did need him as we were coming into that game. We needed somebody to maybe roam in the middle of the field, get back in the middle of the field, get over the top of post, and LD's a guy that could do that for us. He just does a really good job reading and then gives the secondary run support. But he's a team captain. Somebody that I've really just seen. I've watched him grow in the last 2 to 3 years, and he's a really good football player for us right now. And then, he's also a great receiver for us. Makes plays on the offensive side as well. Mm-hmm. So really proud of what he's doing and the leadership that we've gotten from him.
Well, let's switch gears and start talking about this week. I called them the new media darling of the Texas Panhandle, and that's the West Plains Wolves. Of course, last year they had a good year running through the playoffs, went all the way to the state semifinals, been ranked in the top 5 all year, and last week they thrashed Randall 62-7. And a lot of people may see this as an obstacle or a barrier, but I've started to call this an opportunity to show how good Dumas is.
I would agree with that. They're as advertised. There's no doubt about that. All the attention to them is very deserving. They're a good football team. They just as you talked about last year. I think the game before state ended up falling to Salina in a very 6-7 point ball game. Mm-hmm. So a very good game. And then they returned every one of those guys. They're a really good football team. But I like your approach as well. That it is an opportunity for us. We're excited. We're excited to get out and step on the field. We're excited to showcase our kids and our program. And they're just the next team on the schedule. There's no pressure in this, in my opinion. We're fixing to go up against one of the top 5 teams in the state of Texas, but it just happens to be our next district opponent and the next one on the schedule. We're excited about it, I think the message to our kids is those guys get dressed and put on their pads the exact same way we do. Now, are we going to have to go over and execute and play really well in order to beat this team? Absolutely. They're a really good football team led by a quarterback that's a 4-year starter, started when he was a freshman, has won a lot of football games in his time there. But we're excited about it. Really, really big up front. They do a great job. They're aggressive on both sides of the ball. But again, we're super excited about the opportunity and excited to go showcase what we have as well.
Well, last year, and the players that you're playing against this year, the same players that you played against last year for the most part.
They are.
They had a couple of seniors last year, but not many. And 21-14 with only 9 or 10 minutes left in the game. So you played them close, and then they had some big plays and scored 21 unanswered points at the end of the quarter. And I'm sure you're reminding your players of that all week long, that you were in the game until the very end.
Absolutely. And when it was 21-14, we don't think that every one of those 21 points were exactly, just well executed by them. We still believe, even of those first 21 points, that maybe 1 or 2 of them, we had an opportunity to get off field. I know one of them was due to a misalignment. The running back ran into the end zone there. But the one previous to that, we had them on 4th. I think it was like 4th and 8, 4th and 12. Scramble. We actually come off the edge right there and almost get to the quarterback. He throws it in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. So we think if we can eliminate that, if we can get off the field on 3rd down, just make them earn everything, then we'll let the chips lay where they lay. But again, we've got to make them earn it. We've got to make them drive the football field. And if they can do that, more power to them.
Well, offensively, will West Plains be the best team you've seen offensively this year?
They are. They execute at a really, really high rate. I mean, they're averaging 49 points a game right now, and so they're putting points on the board. They score very quickly, very fast. You talk about the Randall game the other night. I mean, they were calling timeouts, trying to get the ball back with a minute left in the game. And then they drove the field in 50 seconds and scored to go up 49 even before half. And so they're a very, very high-powered offense. But all starts with the guys up front. They have an offensive line that does a great job, and they're going to run the football. They're in and out of multiple formations, a lot of motions, a lot of shifts. And so we've got to be able to sift through all that. And if we'll get lined up, and make them earn everything. I think I'm going to continue to say that over and over. Make them earn it. We're going to have to be great tacklers. Their running back does a great job of running through tackles. He's physical, just like his offensive line. And then they've got a quarterback that absolutely just runs the offense, knows it really well. He's pretty much another coach that's just on the field right there. He's been doing it a long time. He's taken a lot of snaps under this offense and under this scheme. And so he's good at what he does.
Well, defensively, I watched a little bit of the West Plains Canyon game because they played the day after we played Randall, and I watched that game online. Canyon, in the first half, had some good success against them. So can you and your team learn some things offensively about how to attack their defense?
I think so. I mean, Canyon's different than us, different style of offense, some 2 and 3 back offense. That's what they did. That's what Canyon did early, is they were going to try to keep the football out of West Plains offense's hands, and how they're going to do that is for Canyon to keep the ball and stay on offense. They did it. They drove down the very first, I don't know how many plays it was, how long it was, but I mean, took a lot of time off the clock and scored and went up 7-0. The difference is West Plains goes back and scores right away and make it 7-7. And so I see some things. I mean, we're going to have to win the game up front. Canyon's offensive line is good and big and physical, and we're going to have to do the same thing. But I think if our offensive line can create some running lanes, I think we've got a running back that's able to be able to run the ball. And then I think we've got a quarterback too. So if we can protect him and give him some time right there, I go back and watch our game last year. We were successful. We just turned the ball over 3 times there in the 4th quarter, and things got out of hand. So we got to keep that from happening.
All right, well, let's take a break here. When we come back, we're going to look at some games around the area and then what the possible playoff scenarios look like as well. So we'll be back.
Being a demon isn't just about football.
It's about service.
It's about giving back to the community that raised us.
Our football team works hard on and off the field.
And in the community. From community service to supporting local events.
We're proud to represent Dumas.
But none of this is possible without you.
Your support means everything. When the stands are full, we can hear our town cheering us on. It pushes us to give our all.
We've got your back, Dumas. Now we need you to have ours.
Come out.
Show up.
Be loud. Support your Dumas Demons.
Together, we are stronger.
Coach, at this point, Zane said I needed to ask you something that would help us know you more personally. So I know you're all about football, and you've been about football probably since you were in fifth grade, maybe earlier than that. You come from a football family. So let me ask you this question. Let's say someone who is well connected comes to you in January and says, Coach, I can either send you and your family to the NCAA National Championship game, or I can send you and your family to the Super Bowl, but I can't do both. Which one you choosing?
So college over NFL?
Uh-huh.
I'm choosing college. I mean, I'm not a huge NFL fan, and I'm starting to become the other way with college as well. I mean, the game is changing drastically.
It is.
But no, I've always the purity of the game, which it's not so much there anymore. But love college football, and I would hope. It would be my biggest dream is that Alabama is playing in that national championship. So it'd definitely be college football.
Okay. Well, let me ask you one other question. You know a lot of coaches because you've been doing this for a long time, and I don't want you to put your brother in this or any of your friends, but what Texas high school football coach, and maybe they've retired already, maybe they're still coaching, but is there a coach that maybe you admire from a distance?
Well, there's one that I coached with, that I learned a lot of what I do. Obviously my brother's close to me, so you said we're not going to use my brother.
Right, because I would admire him too.
Absolutely. Mike Spradlin, I got on his staff. When I was at Dumas last time, after I left, I went to Abilene Cooper, working with Mike Spradlin, who was there. We were there 5 years together, and then he took the Temple job, and he took me with him as his defensive coordinator. And so just a guy that I've learned a lot from. I mean, he's a guy that's always been he's always taken teams, and changed programs around. He's still a guy that I talk to, quite often now. He actually got to come out. Me and Coach Waddell both coached on his staff together. He was actually able to come out and watch the Lampasas game last year, and he stood on the sidelines. And so he's been a guy that's had a lot to do, with me building, and understanding the program that I want. He's really good at what he does, and was a huge mentor to me of understanding, what I wanted to do when I got the opportunity to be a head coach.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, let's look at some of the games around the area. I want to start with your brother's team, Amarillo High. They're hosting Lubbock, and I don't know if you know all of the hoopla around this game, but this is going to be the 103rd time they played each other.
That's crazy. I do know there's a lot of history behind that, and so it's going to be a good game. He's just coming off of a 79-6 victory over Coronado,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this will be one that they can win as well, because they've got a huge one coming up the next week as they finish their regular season with Tascosa, which is a big one. So
it's going to be important for them not to look ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, they've got to play this. They've got to make sure that they're getting better, through the process.
Well, the other thing about the Amarillo High and Lubbock, and I heard this as a trivia question a couple of weeks ago. Amarillo High has 46 consecutive victories over Lubbock, dating back to 1973. So that was 6 years before you were born and when I was 13 years old. And that is the longest winning streak in the state of Texas concerning a rivalry game.
That's a lot of pressure.
That is.
I don't know if Chad knows that. I might text him and make sure, like,
Let him know.
Hey, don't mess this thing up.
Yeah,
So-
that'd be the first coach in 46 years to lose
Exactly.
to
I
Lubbock.
don't think I'd like to be that.
All right, another team, another game. I think it's a very interesting game in the area, but it's way south. And Lubbock Liberty, kind of the new kid on the block, taking on Lubbock Estacada, probably for the district championship.
I think it is, and that'll be a game where there's a lot of talent on the field. I think Lubbock. I actually saw where Liberty just had maybe their tight end just get his first Division I offer, and so there's a lot of good athletes in that area. And this is a really big game, and for district championship with Lubbock, Cooper Liberty being a new school. But I guarantee you, Estacada will be excited and ready for this game as well.
Okay, who do you think's going to win? Put you on the spot.
I don't know.
Think about it, and because we may put this one in on our pick'em contest.
I'll think about it.
All right, Dalhart at Bushland. You know, Dalhart only lost one game to Perryton. Bushland not having the success they normally have, but I promise you, Bushland's schedule has been a lot tougher than Dalhart. So
I agree. This is a big game, which you said Dalhart's 7-1. I think Bushland is now 3-5. But Bushland played a really tough game last week, a one-score ball game to a really good shallow water team. And I think this game is at Bushland, and so it's a big one. I mean, I wouldn't count Bushland out quite yet. So.
I wouldn't either. In fact, I think Bushland to win that game.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In our district, the first game is Randall at Pampa. And I think most people will believe Randall will probably bounce back, even though they got Randallized by West Plains last week. I think they'll bounce back and take care of Pampa.
I do too. But again, this is, and I think as I was reading maybe a little bit that the Pampa's running back played, but again is really bummed up and limping around, and so I think they're a total different team without him. And again, I think Randall will take this one.
And the next game is Hereford and Canyon, and this really is going to be for the fourth playoff spot. I think the winner of this game will go in the playoffs, and I think the loser of this game will probably not make the playoffs.
I agree, and it's there's a lot riding on the game with Hereford. I definitely think a different Hereford team that took the field against us last year is going to have to show up, because I think Canyon's got a little bit of steam right now. I think they're playing pretty good football. As I've watched them, I watched them the week before us, and then obviously I watched them when they played us, and then went in and had a big game against Pampa last week, and so I think they've got a lot to prove, and I think it'll be very, very important who lines up at quarterback for Hereford next week. And so it'll be interesting. It really will.
Do you think Ramirez will come back and play, or had the coach Naren say anything to you about that?
No, he didn't, and I hope he does. He's a good football player.
Yeah,
I hope he can finish his senior year the right way. He's dealt with some injuries throughout his baseball career, and just for the kid, I mean, he deserves it. He's a really good football player, so I hope he can come back and finish his senior year the right way.
But at the same time, because he's a good kid, and he's all, I saw that he may change his mind and not go to UT to play baseball, but I don't want him to get hurt where he misses baseball. And
me either, and that's the same thing that I said to Coach Naren, is that I wanted him just healthy, because he loves baseball, and I want him to be able to finish that and play a good baseball season. So.
Well, looking at our standings, West Plains is at the top of the district, 3-0. We're now tied for second with Randall at 2-1. If we finished with Randall tied, and just us and Randall, then they have the benefit over us because of head-to-head. Hereford and Canyon at 1-2. We already talked about that. Pampa at 0-3, and we talked about this, or you talked about this in the quarterback club, the Boosters Club. We could really finish anywhere from first to fourth still, and we really won't know until after this week.
Agree. And this is the exact district that we thought we were going to get before it started. You know, we knew it was going to be a knockdown a knockdown fight every single week that we played, and it still is. We do control our own destiny. I mean, if we can go beat West Plains, we've got a chance, depending on what happens to everybody else, to still win a district championship. Or we've got the opportunity to maybe finish as the fourth place team in the district and heading into the playoffs. So either way, I mean, we can just control the next game that's in front of us, and that's West Plains, and that's where our focus is right now.
Well, I know you and your coach staff have probably talked about all this, but just one quick question about this. As I do the math, if you beat West Plains by 10, and Randall wins out, it's going to be a three-way tie, but you'll move into second place. If you beat West Plains by 15 and Randall wins out, you'll move into first place. if you beat West Plains and then Randall loses to Canyon, you'll go to first place. But my question is, let's say you're winning by 8 and there's about a minute left. You can try to drive down and get the 2 more points.
I mean, absolutely.
Okay, just wondered.
Absolutely. Yeah. Without a doubt. I mean,
Or if you're winning by 7, where they're within a touchdown, you're going to drive down and and go for the extra points.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just curious. You become a gambler this year, Coach.
I know. I got to keep that. I mean, I can't let you know what the cards I'm holding. I got to be a gambler a little bit.
Okay. Well, that is going to wrap up our coaches. So, Coach, I wish you the best of luck, and I am going to start calling it an opportunity to showcase the football team Dumas has rather than the number 4 team or whatever they are this week. So, I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll come home with a victory.
Thank you. I plan to do the same, and I like your outlook on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us and putting up with me for filling in for Zane. He'll be back next week.